What does it take to create one of the best live sports experiences in North America? How can someone break into one of the most competitive industries in sports and entertainment? What was it like to be a part of a Stanley Cup championship, an Emmy Award winning production, and one of the most decorated game day presentation teams in professional sports? What can aspiring professionals learn about leadership and building a career from someone who started at a local rink in Vernon Hills, Illinois? Today, we're joined by Emma Kazian, Manager of Entertainment Experience for the Vegas Golden Knights. Stay tuned. Welcome to Making the Marquee, the podcast that pulls back the curtain on the people, careers, and stories behind the entertainment industry. I'm your host, Natalie Bober. Every sold out arena, every unforgettable concert, every championship celebration, every TV production, someone worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make those moments possible. On Making the Marquee, we sit down with the people whose work may not always be in the spotlight, but whose creativity, leadership, and passion make unforgettable experiences happen. Whether you dream of working in sports, music, television, theater, live events, or any other corner of the entertainment industry, our goal is to help you learn from the people who have already made the journey. Today's guest has done exactly that. Emma Kazian is the manager of entertainment experience for the Golden Knights, bringing nearly 10 years of experience across multiple professional sports leagues. She and her team oversee many of the experiences fans enjoy beyond the action on the ice, from the anthem singers and the celebrity guests to interactive contests, in-arena hosts, and game presentation that help transform every Golden Knights game into a memorable live event. Emma is a 2023 Pacific Southwest Emmy Award winner in Special Events Program category for the Vegas Golden Knights Raised Banner production. She was also part of the organization's historic 2023 Stanley Cup championship season, and her entertainment and production team earned multiple IDEA awards, including being recognized as Best Overall Game Production in Hockey and Best Overall Game Production in all of sports in 2023. Earlier in her career, Emma was nominated for the 2018 IDEA Inspire the Passion Award, recognizing rising professionals in sports entertainment. However, her journey began much closer to home as a public address announcer at Glacier Ice Arena in Vernon Hills, Illinois, proving that every great career can start anywhere. Today, we'll discuss what really happens behind the scenes on game day, the realities of working in sports, what it takes to build championship culture, and the advice Emma has for the next generation hoping to make their own mark on the industry. Emma, welcome to Making the Marquee.
Thank you. Wow, I hope I can live up to the introduction.
We're you're from Vegas. Well, you live in Vegas now. You've seen some of the biggest and brightest marquees, especially being on the strip. When you hear the word marquee, what do you think of?
Oh, bright lights and somebody famous or some sort of entertainment show, something that's worth going and seeing.
Let's start where every great story begins. Before the Stanley Cup and before all your awards, you started at Glacier Ice Arena in Vernon Hills. How did that opportunity come about, and when did you realize that sports entertainment wasn't just something you loved, but it was something you wanted to build your career around?
Wow, Natalie, you really did your research. That's really going back in the files. So that opportunity came about because my dad was in a master's program for leadership with another gentleman whose son was playing on the Libertyville Vernon Hills Ice Cats. It was a combined high school team between the two high schools, and they were looking for someone to help assist with what was their game day production. I didn't know that, and I actually didn't even connect those dots until many years later. But I helped the team with a variety of different things, whether it was filling water bottles, running the scoreboard, or conducting chuck a puck during the intermission. I kind of did it all. I also DJ'd to the best of my abilities. And it was a really good way to dip my toe into game entertainment when I didn't even know that's what I was doing.
So so when you started, at what point in your career did you realize this is something that I want to do and it actually became your career?
It wasn't until many, many years later. I actually wanted to go to school to be a firefighter. My whole life, I wanted to be a firefighter. My dad's a firefighter. I grew up, was raised by firefighters, which is a very small step above being raised by wolves. But that's what I wanted to do. And for a variety of different reasons, when I was in the fire academy, I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't the right fit for me. It's very physically demanding. And I just wasn't quite up to snuff there. But I did get nationally registered as an EMT as part of that process. So I switched gears and I actually pursued a nursing degree, got into nursing school, and that's where I decided, you know what, this really isn't where my passion is. My career path, I was kind of very lost. I realized nursing takes a lot of love and effort, and I didn't have it in me to want to clean up people's vomit or do kind of the less glamorous things of that job or even put forth the effort to study the way that I needed to. So I took a career aptitude test and it sounds so silly and it was a total light bulb moment, but it was like third on the list, I think. It was sports event planning. And I said, well, I love sports and I love to plan things. I'm the planner of my friend group. I'm constantly planning nights out or parties or things like that. And so I said, that makes the most sense. I think that's where my skill set and my interests kind of intersect. So I kind of started putting out some feelers and was fortunate enough to have a connection into working with the Arizona Coyotes, RIP. And my resume got on the right desk and my interview got me the job.
And you just mentioned the Arizona Coyotes. They don't exist anymore, unfortunately. Your career has taken you from Arizona to the Colorado Eagles to the Arizona Cardinals and now the Golden Knights. Looking back, what did each stop teach you and prepare you for what you're doing today?
Gosh, I couldn't even quantify a small list of the things I've learned every step of my journey, and there has been quite a few all across the country, has led me, prepared me, shaped me for this opportunity right now that I have with the Golden Knights. I everything from the technical skills of the job, show calling, leading people, organizing a hit of, setting up a shot or making prize packs or, small things to, just coming into my own as a woman in this industry and learning again, just the small things along the way. I couldn't have done it without each of those stops.
And how did you get to the Golden Knights from the NFL and transition back into hockey?
Yeah. So I was in 2021. I accepted a position with the Arizona Cardinals. That was all relationship based. Someone I had interviewed for the position years prior while I was at a different stop along my journey, and I wasn't the best candidate or fit for the position at the time. But after a couple of seasons and years, I was still on the hiring manager's mind, I guess, and they reached out and I took that position, and while I was with the Cardinals, continued to grow my network and professionally develop myself and my skills, and was able to connect with my now boss at the Vegas Golden Knights. And so when the position became available in Vegas, he reached out, and the rest is history.
And how important is it to network in this industry?
It's almost everything in this industry to be able to network and to grow your network and have friends in all sorts of places along the way. I was taught from a very young age by my dad that life is all about who you know. And a couple years ago, my boyfriend put a little spin on that. And he said, it's not just about who you know, but it's how they know you. So it's not only just creating a network, but also a reputation that people want to say your name in rooms you're not in for the right reasons, and really putting forth that opportunity of, I think, raising their hands and saying, I think Emma is the best candidate for this position. We should reach out to her, or my resume comes across their desk and they want to hire me because I've built a strong work ethic and all of the things that go into this job, again, technically and personality wise, that really has propelled my career in every direction that it's gone.
Now, in 2018, you were recognized as the Idea Inspired the Passion Award nominee. For viewers who aren't familiar with the award, can you give us some background information about the award?
Yeah. So IDEA is a group of people that work in the sports industry. Again, all different levels, whether it's control room or video production or game entertainment, a whole gamut of individuals. And this was a very prestigious award to be nominated for, as an up and coming person of this industry. I wasn't even full time at this point. I was working part time with the Grand Rapids Griffins and was nominated by my wonderful boss there. He saw something in me that embodies what that award is, and that award is for individuals who are trying to make it into this industry, that are putting forth that extra effort, and emphasis and desire to bring about new ideas and changing the industry. So to be in that class of nominees is extremely humbling. And ironically, my boss at the Knights, we were nominated the same year. Neither of us won, but we were both nominated, and that's really special to me.
And look where you both are now.
Yeah, it's really crazy how the world works.
And that was years before the Stanley Cup and your Emmy. Looking back now, what did that recognition mean to you at that stage of your career? And what did that teach you about how to proceed?
If I'm being honest and having some retrospect on it, I was, of course, very honored in the moment and knew that it was a big deal. But now, several years into my career, I really appreciate what that nomination was and what the individuals who put me up for that award saw in me, because it's something that I embody every single day and try to put forth with my current position of being innovative and being creative and pushing the envelope and trying new things and failing at a lot of things, but not giving up, those types of things. So I think I appreciate it a lot more now, almost 10 years into my career, rather than, being a young pup in the industry back then.
And now you're with the Golden Knights. What are your job responsibilities with the Golden Knights, and what does a typical day look like for you?
Oh, I don't know if any typical day there is such a thing as a typical day. Every day is a little different, with some things that cross over. Um, every day, if it's not a game day, I'm in the office. I'm prepping for games, whether that's creating scripts or working on our PA copy for our public address announcer, or host cards so our hosts know what to say, or working with sponsorship of getting a new idea for a new client for them to pitch, or lots of brainstorms. A lot of creative juices are flowing in our office of new things we can sell, or maybe some fun stuff we want to do with our mascot. So that's kind of my non-game day outlook, is a lot of preparation so we're successful on game day, and a lot of creativity. On a game day, that's about a 12 plus hour day, depending on what is needed. And I get to the arena about 11 in the morning. Again, a lot of preparation, making sure that our stage managers are ready to go. They have all the correct information, the correct pricing, anything of that nature. We have pre-game meetings with a variety of different people. I meet with all of our promo teams and give them the rundown for the game. And then at VGK, we have something special called the March to the Fortress, which is very unique to us. And that's kind of the kickoff of everything in-game entertainment. The game hasn't even started. And then from there, it's just whatever the game needs. And I'm going to different hits in game for TV timeouts. I'm helping with the intermission games. I'm overseeing our stage managers, making sure they have all what they need to be successful. And then the game is over, and about 11:30 p.m., I get to go home and totally crash out because I'm exhausted.
And for anyone who hasn't been to a VGK game, the march from it starts at New York, correct?
Yes, it goes from inside the New York casino, outside, up Park, past Beer House, which is a very popular pregame spot, into our plaza. And it pauses there where one of our promo teams will take the stage outside and do a performance. And then the march actually continues inside on the concourse for those fans that are already in the arena, and it ends just before warm-ups begin.
And if anyone has watched a VGK game, especially during the playoffs, you know how electric the pregame is outside of the arena. Some of the biggest stars in Vegas and in the entertainment industry have performed in Plaza. And have you been a part of selecting those people, or who usually selects those celebrities?
Yes, so in the playoff atmosphere specifically, that's a joint venture with the NHL. And sometimes it's more the NHL leading the direction and the charge, but we at VGK will support and help when and where possible, however they need.
Now, how many people work with you on your team?
In the office, I think we have about 14 people on our team, and that spans from entertainment experience to live production to video production, with some motion graphics mixed in there. And that's between full and part-time positions. And then on a game day, it's 100 plus individuals. And that's ranging from stage managers to cast members to the control room staff. That all falls under our leadership.
And how do you coordinate everything? Because hundreds of people, it sounds impossible.
You would think so. Almost 10 seasons in now, we're a well-oiled machine. Everybody kind of has their marching orders, and it's not just me that's over 100 plus people. We have certain people that oversees just the cast, but then there's some crossover with like myself and my boss on the entertainment side. The control room has a whole different group of people that manage them and their time cards and all of that. So it is a big group effort, and it's just a lot of organization on the back end of things, or the front end, before we even get to game day.
And 10 seasons in, the Golden Knights have been known for having one of the best game day experiences in the NHL, let alone professional sports. What makes Vegas different from anyone else?
Yeah, I can't take too much credit because there was plenty of people who blazed that trail far before I got here, but I'm very grateful to be part of the team that's carrying the torch forward with those traditions. We take a lot of pride in being a show on the Las Vegas Strip and not just a hockey game. So we give our fans everything, whether you're there for the hockey, whether you're there to be entertained, whether you're there for the food. We want to have a well-rounded experience for all of our fans, regardless of why they're there. And that could be a local who, is a season ticket member who's catching all of our home games, or that could be a fan that's coming in on vacation, or someone who's there for a convention that just needed something to do for the night. We cater to all of those different fans, or even just buys, and we really take an emphasis on giving them a good show.
I went to game 3 years ago. I still haven't stopped talking about it. I loved every minute of it. And you earlier in the interview, you mentioned your dad. And I
Mhm.
know from prior conversations, your dad introduced you to hockey. How does his love for hockey, and he instilled that in you, help you in, or inspire you when you're creating all these experiences for fans and you're trying to come up with different ideas?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the mustard seed of why I do what I do. The story goes, the day I was born, my mom woke up from a nap to my dad holding me up to the TV to watch hockey with him. And I think that's truly where it started. That fandom continued to us going, we're from the Chicago area, so the Chicago Wolves of the AHL were a massive part of my childhood. My dad and I would go to games all the time together. And then that later transcended to the Blackhawks and it was such an integral part of my childhood and my memories with my dad specifically, but my family as a whole, of going to those games, making those memories, having a good time. Again, I didn't even know what game entertainment was, but I was consuming it and being, you know, entertained by it. And so I think now being in the position that I'm in, it's on my shoulders personally and professionally to give those experiences back to our fans. So if someone can come in and forget about their problems for the 3-ish hours that they're in the fortress with us, I'm doing my job. There's a lot of things in life that we can't control or that make us maybe feel anxious or sad or whatever negative emotion you want to feel. But if they can come to a hockey game and have a good time, regardless of what happens with the score, then I'm doing a good job. And that leads right back to what I experienced as a kid with my dad. So I always go into every single game day thinking, this is someone's first game, and this might be a dad and his daughter, or his son, or a mom and her son, or whatever the duo might be. This might be their one chance to connect. And like, how can we make that the best experience for them?
And you said you grew up in the Chicagoland area, and you experienced Wolves and Blackhawks games. Who are your favorite players growing up?
I was very fortunate to be in the Blackhawks fandom when Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews were coming onto the scene. The very first Blackhawks game I ever attended just so happened to be Patrick Kane's Rookie of the Year game. And it was an incredible experience. We had tickets all the way in the nosebleeds, ran into a friend of my dad's, which here comes the relationships and networking, right? Ran into him on the concourse and he said, "Those seats suck. Take these instead." And they were like 4 rows off the glass, right behind the goalie. We were sitting right in front of some player agents. So it was crazy to hear them talk about the players and the stats and all the things, and it's an experience I would never forget. So growing up in that Kane and Tays era and the mini dynasty of them winning Stanley Cups was a very fortunate accident.
And now you get to see Patrick Kane at the Fortress on September 29th.
Yeah, crazy. Very, very crazy, very surreal. There's been a few times in my career where I've pinched myself of like, 10-year-old 16-year-old me who went to games watching these players is now working alongside them or, having them in the building and some for some significant moments that have been really special.
Now, you talked about trying to make other people's their experience special. What's one game day moment fans remember for 5, 10 minutes, but took weeks of planning behind the scenes?
Honestly, a lot of what we do is weeks planning. I mean, our banner raising ceremony, our entire season 10 rollout that we have coming up, which I can't give away too many secrets about, but it's months in the planning or in the planning process to bring forth what we're going to bring to fans. So most of what we do, and there's a few things maybe that got thrown together last minute that are also long lasting memories, but a lot of what we do is meticulously thought out and planned out ahead of time.
And you just mentioned the banner raising ceremony. Who, I mean, you were there inside the arena when they won the Stanley Cup. What was going through your mind when the clock was winding down?
Don't cry. As a lifelong hockey fan, to have any sort of experience with the Stanley Cup, let alone to be part of a team that has won one, is unlike anything I could even describe. And it was kind of chaotic because you're trying to be present in the moment, but you're also having to execute things at a high level. And it's making sure Gary Bettman is standing in the right position and that the lighting and the set pieces are ready to go on the ice when they need to. And a lot of that is handled by the NHL. But I was in the tunnel. I was right there as the cup came out on the ice, and like just making sure, all the things are in the right places. So you have to, take in the moment and be present, but also be present to the job at hand. And so you're trying to enjoy it, but also get it done.
And did you get to celebrate right after they won, or were you right on the ice getting the Stanley Cup ready, or did you have any time to celebrate?
Yeah, we did have time. I wasn't on the ice right after it happened. We saved that moment for our players and their families, but I was able to, after the job kind of all the nuts and bolts were finished and the cup was just being passed around and enjoyed, I was actually able to go into the stands to enjoy that moment with my boyfriend and my friends who were at the game and kind of take it in as a fan and watch that happening while also again being in a working capacity. And then before the cup went back to the locker room for the night, we were able to get on the ice and take some photos as a group. And that was really special.
Now, one question fans have been asking, one of the most memorable moments of the championship run was William Karlsson during the parade. How do you control something like his speech? Do you not have any control? And how do you handle something like that?
Yeah, that speech will live in infamy, as they say, for all the best and chaotic reasons. And the parade itself is a whole different story. And that was really fun. I was on stage. We were conducting all of the entertainment and telling people where to go and what needed to happen from a sponsorship standpoint, and those things. But you can't really control when a player gets up there and just starts going, and he's been having a really good time and says what he needs to say. So, luckily, that's on our PR team to kind of corral and worry about the players as we were worrying about some other things or making sure other things were ready to go. But yeah, it was unreal. The first time I ever drank out of the Stanley Cup was on the parade stage. It was a very special night. That was just the best kind of chaos I've ever experienced.
And not long after that, you helped create the award-winning banner ceremony. How did that take place, and how long did that take planning wise?
Yeah, so we won in June, and then the banner raising happened in October. And pretty much from then, it was like plan and figure out. And we had some ideas. The slot machine idea, our banner, for those who don't know, came out of a slot machine when it rose to the rafters, which was very unique and very Vegas. That idea had been circulated for a very long time, if I'm being honest. I don't know exactly when it came about, but we talked about it and we're like, okay, let's get this. I mean, those set pieces have to get into production ASAP because they are pretty large and take some time to fabricate and things. So we were on it right away. It was a complete group effort. We talked about it and then we had many rehearsals. I was Mark Stone's stand-in, so I was on skates just so we could camera block and exactly what would happen of he would skate out of our Vegas, our players skate out of a helmet, so our helmet, so I would skate out of the helmet, pretend I was holding the Stanley Cup, pretend to put it on the table, and then pull the lever of the slot machine and the banner would come out. So that was hours of rehearsals and camera blocking and making sure the mechanisms would work and the banners were loaded in the right way and everything, the timing of getting it on and off the ice and how long that would take and all of that. Way more time and preparation goes into it than probably most people can even think of.
How much sleep did you get during that preparation?
I don't know, probably not very much. It was a whirlwind journey from the entire playoff run to winning to the celebrating to the parade to the more celebrations to, okay, we have the next job, which is raising this banner and creating that experience. So very little sleep.
And you won the Emmy. When they called your name, what was going through your head?
I couldn't believe it. Funny enough, I didn't even know you could win an Emmy working in sports. I thought that was like a TV thing. But when I met my boyfriend, who also works in sports, he had an Emmy. And he's on the broadcast side of the sports world, so it makes a little bit more sense, a little bit easier path to get one. But when I saw that he had one, I said, wait a minute, I want one. And I put that on my bucket list. And I didn't know when or how or if it would ever happen. But it did. And that was incredible. And so I think in that moment, I was shocked. I was so proud of our team. Like I said, it was months of effort and energy and so many people's blood, sweat, tears, little sleep. I mean, it was a huge undertaking. So to be recognized in such a cool way was really, really special. And I was grateful enough to be there in person to be able to accept the award. And I, it's an absolute top career moment for me. And there wasn't even a game being played. So yeah, it was cool.
You've been part of a championship team, an Emmy winning production team, and Western Conference championship season last season. What separates elite organizations from everyone else?
Think what makes Vegas so different is how committed we are to being the best. And that's across the board, whether that's ticket sales, sponsorship, the product on the ice. We are constantly striving to be the best in our fields. And again, on and off the ice, front office or hockey ops, whether that's acquiring players or maybe making trades that are less than popular amongst some people. We constantly are chasing a winning culture again on and off the ice.
And people see the sold out arenas. They see you hanging out with celebrities like the Backstreet Boys and the celebrations. It all looks glamorous, but what's the reality that people don't see?
Yeah, it is very glamorous on Instagram and social media, and I do have a very cool job. So I just want to say that before I say anything else. I love my job. I'm very grateful, but it is a lot of work. I spoke to it earlier. They're 12-hour game days. They're sometimes 80-hour weeks. It's, seeing your team members more than you see your own family, or spending more time at the rink than at your own home. It's a lot of sacrifice, it's a lot of hard work. But again, you love it, so it's worthwhile, but it is a lot. And it's definitely not a career path that is for everybody.
And someone who's looking to go into game day entertainment, how do you balance the late nights, the weekends away from family, missed holidays, missed family events? How do you balance all that? And what have been the most difficult moments in your career and how do you overcome them?
I think I'm still trying to figure it out. Everything is still on a case by case, season by season basis. As I get a little bit more established in my career, I think I'm a little bit more comfortable to prioritize family events or, utilizing my vacation time in the off season to put forth that effort and energy to see my loved ones. But that the reality is you're going to miss things. There are opportunities that come up and it's, well, I have a game that night. Like I just can't miss it. But then there's also other opportunities that you have to remind yourself, you know what, it's just a hockey game and my job is important, but family is more important depending on whatever the scenario is. So it's really it's learning what that balance is for you. And that's, I think, such a personal decision for every single person. And again, I don't always get it right or handle it perfectly. And I do get crabby sometimes on the late nights and whatnot, but it's really finding your moments and capitalizing when and where you can.
And what's been the most difficult moment of your career and how did you overcome that?
Um, I mean, I've moved all across the country for this job, and I've been far from family. I've been close to family. I've been completely alone in a city where I've known absolutely nobody. So I'm very fortunate where I'm very outgoing and make friends, and I don't think everybody has that same, you know, rambunctious spirit that I do to just say, well, I'll go this place and I'll make friends somehow. And I do figure it out. But it does get lonely and it does get difficult. And it's sometimes missing a family vacation because you have media day or training camp or something that you have to be present for that you don't get to partake. And that's a tough pill to swallow, and that's hard to kind of learn. And sometimes families aren't as understanding. I'm very grateful that my family does understand my job and supports me in that way. So I wouldn't say it's been very difficult, but it has been something that I've had to manage through.
And for students or anyone who's looking to get into this industry, how do you get your foot in the door?
Say yes. Apply to as many opportunities as you can. Get in with internships or game night positions, part-time jobs, and say yes because you don't know what saying yes to an opportunity that maybe is a little bit outside of your job scope or something you maybe think you don't like. You might try it and realize you love it, or you might try it and you're like, yep, definitely don't want to pursue a career down that path. Any and all experience is good experience, and it really I can pinpoint to several opportunities throughout my career that had I not said yes to that one opportunity 3 years ago, I would not be prepared and confident to say yes at this present opportunity. So I think it's just saying yes and giving it a go and see where it leads you.
And where do you think game day entertainment is headed over the next decade?
Gosh, who knows? I mean, with AI on the rise, that's continuing to change the landscape of what we do or how we do it. And some for the better, some for we'll see. But hopefully, we can manage that and figure out. And I think people at the end of the day still want to be entertained and have a good time. And so I think, how we do that might change, but what we do is still extremely important.
What's been the proudest moment of your career so far?
Proudest moment of my career is a great question. I have so many. Honestly, the Emmy was up there. But I love the people part of my job the best. I love mentoring individuals who reach out to me and say, I want to work in sports. Can you help? And I might not be able to get them a job. I might not have a job to get them, but I take a lot of pride in my mentorship. And so to see those individuals land a first full-time job, or maybe they got the job now, and then 2 years later they're calling me for advice of, I think I want to take this other position. What do you think? And maintaining those relationships is something I'm extremely proud of.
If sports entertainment didn't exist, what career do you think you'd be pursuing?
Probably something in the music side of the entertainment industry. I love going to concerts. I love music. And so I think a lot of what I do in sports is very applicable to the music industry. So I'd probably be a stage manager on a tour with a band.
Out of every band, who would you want to work for?
Hmm, I don't know. Maybe the used. I love the used. MGK would be very cool. Honestly, like anybody that I enjoy, I think would be fun, but they also say don't meet your heroes. So maybe a band that nobody's ever heard of or that I'm not a fan of, so it doesn't ruin the experience for me.
And if you could sit down with young Emma, who worked at Glacier Ice Arena, what would you tell her?
It all works out, even when it doesn't. It's hard when you're starting out to see the forest through the trees and, to understand like why you didn't get a certain job that you thought you were going to get, or you thought you wanted to do something this specific way or with this specific team, and it didn't work out that way. And the things in my career that didn't work out the way I thought they would were the best things that ever happened to me. And the things that did work out the way I hoped they would have been incredible too. It's been I've been very fortunate, and have worked really hard to land my dream job with my dream team in a dream city.
And can you give us a little sneak preview of what we can expect this season, especially being the 10th season?
Like I said earlier, I can't say much, but what I can say is expect a lot of nostalgia. Expect, really leaning into what has gotten to us to season 10 and everything that's beyond. Like it's a good mix of new and old and, really tugging at your heartstrings. I think it's going to be a really special season for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Emma, we end every episode of Making the Marquee the same way. Imagine someone gives you a marquee. It could be outside of T-Mobile Arena. It could be on the Vegas Strip. It could be anywhere in the world. It could be the Cubs marquee. But you can only put a few words or a short phrase on that marquee, something that represents who you are, what you've learned, or what you hope people remember. What would your marquee say and why?
I knew this question was coming and I still am not prepared. I think it would just be do it scared. Whatever it is that you want to do in life, even if it's scary and the best things in life should have you a little bit frightened, do it anyways. Like take a chance, bet on yourself because I promise whatever's on the other side of that thing that scares you a little bit is going to be so much better than you've ever imagined.
Emma, thank you so much for joining us on Making the Marquee. You can catch Emma and her team's work at the Golden Knights season opener on September 29th against the Blackhawks. If you haven't seen Emma's work, or if you have, drop your favorite memory in the comments or something that you'd love to see the Vegas Knights do or her team do. Emma's story is a reminder that remarkable careers don't happen overnight. They begin with saying yes to opportunities, working hard when no one else is watching, and building genuine relationships and never losing sight of where you started. To everyone listening, thank you for spending part of your day with us. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe to Making the Marquee wherever you listen to your podcast. While you're there, leave us a review if it helps. If anyone wants to listen, you can also follow us on social media for behind the scenes content, upcoming guests, and exclusive clips from every episode. And if you know someone whose dream is working in sports, entertainment, broadcasting, or live events, share this episode with them. And remember, every name that eventually makes the marquee has to start somewhere or with something. We'll see you next time on Making the Marquee. And don't forget to follow the Golden Knights.